Yeah, John Yannon. I think he was in prison about 1970 or 69, 70. He was convicted. So he was in Sebring, yeah? He was in Sebring, and a lot of people knew who he was. A lot of people didn't get too close to him, get too leery, didn't want to spark him off because John Yannon was, one thing wrongly said and you was going to get it from him. So he was well respected in Wandsworth prison, yeah, especially in Sebring. John McVicker, he escaped from Durham prison 1960, 68, yeah, 1968. He was recaptured in 1970, about November time, December time. Same as John Yannon was in Wandsworth. McVicker was sent to Wandsworth. He was put into Sea Wing. Being that John McVicker escaped from Durham prison, he was on patches. Let me tell you what patches is. Patches is where you're an escapee, so you put on, I give you a boiler suit with a yellow stripe down it and down the back, a big square down the back, and you are escorted everywhere. That you take all your furniture out of your cell at night time. All that's left in your cell is, I think, it's a cupboard, and that's it. The chair comes out of all your clothes, and that's it. And in the morning, they wait. Your lights put on all night long. It's a crazy light, red light. It drives you mad, yeah. So Vicar was on patches. He was escorted everywhere. The screws had books, so everywhere he went, two screws would go with him, yeah. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but that's how prison is, yeah. So John McVicker, recess in the morning. John Hanlon, they usually when you're on patches, you go there and you got screws that are there watching you all the time with your book. People have been shouting out the window that McVicker is in Wandsworth prison and are not quite sure what wing he's on. So people are saying he's on C wing and John Yannon's on C wing, yeah? So John Yannon comes down. John Yannon's on the same landing as McVicker. McVicker's on the ones in C wing where most of the patches cells are, yeah. So John's on the 1-2 right by where the screws box is, yeah, to keep an eye on John. So John comes out. He goes to the recess. He's slopping out, and who walks in? McVicker. But the two screws are outside watching McVicker walk in. John Yannon has said something to McVicker, you arsehole, something like that. You mucked up everybody getting out. You escaped by yourself. You're nothing but this and nothing but that. And McVicker was no idiot. McVicker could have a right fight, and he didn't really know too much about John Hanlon. You know what I mean? Because he's been involved with some heavy people himself, armed robberies and all that, yeah? So he's had a go at John Yannon. He threw a punch at John Yannon and hit John Yannon on the chin. Now, McVicker is not a very big man, like powerful, big and powerful, but he's very wiry, and a very wiry man can throw punches very quick. He's hit John Yannon on the chin. John Yannon's gone back, and they're fighting. The screws are outside. The two screws with the books are outside, but they're not really bothered about this because McVicker is escaped from Durham prison and mugged the prison service off. So they really don't care. All they want to see is McVicker get a good idea from John Yannon. But it ain't that way at that time, McVicker is giving John Yannon some stick. McVicker is no fool. He can have a fight, yeah? But as I say, he's wiry. John Yannon's about 18.5, 19 stone, short, thick set, and McVicker steams into him, throwing punches, but he can't go very far, McVicker. All he can do is run out on the landing, and he ain't going to do that. So he's fighting in a recess, and in the end, John Yannon wore him down and smashed McVicker to pieces, really bashed him up bad. John Yannon left McVicker in the recess, walked out with his pot and his jug, and walked out. The screws were still outside waiting. Didn't say nothing to John. didn't nick John Yannon or nothing, just turned their back and let John Yannon go to his cell. Yeah, that's a true story, that is. Yeah, McVicker and John Yannon had a right good fight in the toilet, and yeah, John, in the end of the day, he beat McVicker. Yeah, bang, bang, roll, nice one.